beautiful people. How are you all feeling? It is amazing. It's another Friday, and today I have the absolute pleasure to welcome Diana Grant, who is a self love coach. Oh, yes, Diana, hello.
Hi, Claire. Thank you so much. And yes, hello, everybody. It's so good to be here on Friday. I love it. And yes,
Oh,
I am a self-love coach. I'm the self-love coach.
you are the self-love coach. Of course you are. I mean, it's funny how the pandemic has put us together, all of us connecting from all over the world. Mind you, I'm saying all over the world. You have got some accent there, but you're not actually living where the accent comes from, do
No,
you?
I'm not. I am currently living in England, in the United Kingdom, in a very small market town, and it's just gorgeous. But I'm from South Africa. So yes, the accent is from quite far away from where I am right now. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So tell me, Diana, how do you become the self-love coach? How did you get into that? Because of what did you do in the past? Have you always been in kind of, that holistic kind of environment, or what were you doing before you got into it?
Okay. That's quite a story. So no, I haven't always been working in a holistic well-being space at all. I have had work-wise a beautiful, colorful career that spanned from retail through to marketing, through to training. But what I have always had is an absolute passion for holistic well-being. Since I can remember, from a very young age, I had so many questions for my mom about food, about self-care, about all sorts of things. My mom had a passion for psychology and learning and growing and developing herself. So it started young and it just grew. And through that colorful career of mine, I realized that along the way, my main passion was human beings and this human experience that we're having. And through various experiences that I had personally, such as watching people in my life have relationships where they were loving people, good people, they loved each other, and yet they were hurting each other and experiencing pain. That worried me. I was like, why are relationships not working? And then getting further along in my life and having a beautiful marriage with my soulmate, and then that fell apart. My first marriage fell apart. Fell apart is a term that I don't usually use because we actually ended up negotiating our way out of the marriage in a beautiful way. We're still very good friends, so that's fantastic. But things changed and shifted, and I had this passion to understand, why do we do what we do? And if we love others, but we end up hurting them, where does that come from? And that led me to this whole journey within. And that to the truth that I live by is that all the answers we seek are within us. And that I really, really do believe that self-love, authentic self-love, and knowledge of inner self is the key to love, success, and happiness in life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm completely with you with that, and I've kind of because obviously I've created the Be Shui. It was always about the beginning. I'm always started by the end kind of thing, customer experience, and how do we deliver that great service. But it's the people who deliver and the environment who affect the people who will affect that. But if you feel good in yourself, you need to feel good in yourself starts by yourself, right? Feeling
Yes.
good start by yourself. And
Yes.
that's probably the key word, isn't it, in anything that you do?
Absolutely, absolutely. And self is such a word that's kind of also been given a bad rap because for so many years, there was all the training of society that we should not be selfish and always be selfless. And actually, my belief and what I teach is that self is the part of us that is our true essence. That's the part of us that is the energy that's connected to the energy of the universe. So that when I use the word self, I'm talking about that inner being part of us. The part of us is more than our mind, more than our emotions, more than our body. And so that's what needs to be nurtured in order to really, really, as you say, shine in any area of life.
Yeah, it's a hard. You're totally right. It's such a hard word, just to perhaps even more so for women. I'm sure for men as well.
Mhm.
But as women, we are nurturing mothers. We've given birth. We tend to be giving all the time, and it's very difficult to receive, isn't it? That's probably something that you see quite a lot.
Oh, yes, Claire, a lot. I
Mhm.
definitely see a lot of that. And I work a lot with women and a
Mhm.
lot with what I call divine feminine energy. I'm sure you've heard of it. Although my work is not aimed only at women, I believe that it is for everyone. But
Mhm.
right here, right now, the greatest need does seem to sit with women. And absolutely, as what you said, Claire, culturally, and because of who we are, just
Mhm.
naturally in our energy as nurturers and carers, we're not the best at receiving. We're not the best at holding boundaries when somebody else might experience discomfort because of that. So, yes, my work at the moment is primarily with women.
Mm. And actually, well, there's something I forgot to say right at the beginning, or when I started on my pandemic kind of things, we all started to connect. But we have met each other through the PSA, which is the
Yes.
Professional Speaker Association.
Mhm.
So you are also a speaker as well as a coach, and
Yes.
so you're going in inspiring people, and that's the big idea, isn't it? When you speak at larger audiences, to inspire people to take action in a bigger way.
Absolutely. And I absolutely love speaking, in case you haven't noticed. But yes, the first time I spoke to a big audience was quite a number of years ago. And it was to about 750 people. And I remember thinking, what on earth was I thinking? Why did I say yes to this? This is a lot of people. And then on the day, I just started getting more and more excited. And then walking up there and that was the whole thing, Claire, is that I had a message of inspiration. And so that day I realized, oh, I love this. I'd always had an idea that I enjoyed, you know, being in front of a group, but that day that was my first big group, and I knew that day I was like, oh yes, I can do this. I love speaking. Yes,
There is
inspiring people.
something on that stage, isn't it? There's something in that moment in time where you're in flow. You know
Yes.
that there's. I remember one particularly talk that I did in Kuala Lumpur, and I just walk into that stage and singing, I feel good. And I got the whole audience, just starting dancing
Uh-huh.
you know, and walking on there, it felt right. It felt like, wow, this is just, really so cool. And then you want to do it again. I mean,
Yes.
probably people watching us are probably the most fear thing that, anything can do is
Yeah.
actually going on stage and talk, but we just thrive by it, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the amazing thing is, I mean, I've seen you do exactly that, raise that energy even online. So, yeah, well done. But yeah, that feeling can't be replaced. It is an amazing feeling.
It is. It is. So you work also with one-to-one, and so you have been taking a little bit of time off. I remember that was a couple of months ago, wasn't it? And you
Yes.
kind of thought, I need to kind of reevaluate a little bit what I needed to do, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and so what kind of happened during that week?
Well, Claire, what happens, what I experienced is that I got into full time coaching quite recently. It was in the last couple of years when I moved to the UK from South Africa. Before that, I had programs running that I used to run on the side. So I was working in a job, and I had my program, which is called Love Me Beautiful, running on the side. And so I would be coaching people through that. And then coming to the UK and setting up my business full time. And I just go for things. So I went, full in and full on and went for it. And I was running way ahead of myself. And there just came a point where I sensed, and being the self love coach, of course, I practice self love practices every day as part of my life. And I got to this place where I definitely felt pulled in different directions. And I knew that what that does is it was diluting what I could offer to my clients, whether they be clients through a program or one on one, or what I wanted to say when I was speaking. And so I just pulled back and took some real deep sort of self care time. And I do
Mhm.
always say self care and self love are not always the same thing. Self care is part of self love. So I took some self-care time, some time to really listen and connect with my inner being, as I always teach others to do. And yes, just to shift the focus slightly and refocus to make sure that I was on the right path and delivering value that people want.
Yeah, it's that. It's taken me a long time to actually get that. I know it seems silly now, but when you're in the plane and they say put your mask in front of you before helping others, right? And I always think, well, of course I'm going to help my child before I help myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You do realize if you're dead, well, you'll be able to help nobody, or if you're in a hospital, you'll be able to help nobody there. So that's the self-care, isn't it, rather than the self-love.
That is self-care, and that takes a lot of undoing, that conditioning, Claire. And it comes back again to what you were saying about as women being nurturers. It's a big thing for us. It's literally in our DNA, first of all, and then on top of that, social conditioning throughout our lives. We're taught to always worry about the other person, and that oxygen mask is the perfect analogy for what I teach. And that does take a lot of practice to learn to really do that, and to nurture self first in order to be able to give more and give better. So yeah, it's a big thing.
It is a big thing, and I think that's probably the hardest thing. It's breaking that wall, to breaking that limited belief, it almost, isn't it, that we are allowed, we have to look after ourselves so we can look after our other. We have to. It's not even allowed, it's something that we have to do, otherwise we can't do it. So
absolutely, that's a big part of my ethos, Claire, is that it's actually we've been given this amazing life, and life itself is a privilege, and with privilege comes responsibility. And our responsibility is first and foremost to this life, the life that I'm living. For you, it's the life that you're living. And then after that, it's a service. We can't be of service without taking care of self. Yeah.
Just Diana, I'm just looking at Evelyn just put a little message saying, Claire, your energy is contagious. So
yes, it is.
I'm actually speaking at the Philippine Retail Association with Evelyn, she's the CEO of the association. It's next week, actually. So Evelyn, get ready to rumble. Next week is coming very soon.
Yep, there's going to be dancing.
So yeah, I think it's something that, again, those are the kind of things that I've been learning over the years as well. It's kind of building that energy. How do you keep up that energy, then the high vibes? And it's not always easy, is it? The pandemic, people are stressed and anxious, and they've got all those kind of things in their head. How do you help people to kind of overcome those moments, and getting themselves back to a place of, okay, we're good.
That's it, Claire. And so the way I do it is, as I said to you, through programs or one-on-one work. But for me, the work is about the various aspects of who we are and bringing them into, I prefer the word harmony than balance.
Yes.
Because the universe is not always in balance. It is balanced, but it goes out of balance sometimes, and that works. Sometimes there's chaos, and sometimes there's a lull.
Yes.
But there's always harmony, and everything's always working. And I see human beings as being physical, mental, emotional, and then spiritual. And so we work with all of the centers in order to really connect and embody every part of who we are as beings. And for me, that's where the self-love comes in. It's really all about self-knowledge. And that means that there are no bad emotions. There are no bad thoughts. Yes, there are some that feel better than others, and some that bring better results than others. And then that's what it becomes about. It becomes about, what do I want for myself? But in a moment, feeling, let's say, sad can be so very real. And so it's about just feeling that, allowing it, accepting who we are in a moment, and knowing that that doesn't have to define me forever. Right now, I might feel sad. I might feel devastated about something. It's a feeling, it's an emotion. And because I know myself, I know that my soul, my inner being, my true essence will prevail through negative thoughts, tough feelings, changes in my physical body. I will prevail. And so that's how that's how I work with people, is getting all of those different centers in sync.
I love that. I mean, you really are talking to, you are preaching to the right audience here. Amen, hallelujah. And I think, there was something else that you've kind of been talking on, because you do quite a lot of social media. Obviously, your background, you were doing marketing before that.
Yes.
So, you're quite out there, and we do a little bit of things together as well on social media. So it's pretty cool to see the evolvement of everybody throughout the last few months. It's been quite an incredible change, isn't it?
It is amazing.
People. And on LinkedIn, so you are all over social media. So if you're looking for Diana, just Google her, you'll find her somewhere.
Yeah, you will.
I have noticed a little something which I wanted us to talk about, right? And I do. A few years ago, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I got really into goddesses, and I got into really kind of, I got a pack of cards, and I started, looking through them, and, I picked one, and it was Artemis, and, I just felt so connected, that powerful, the stance, the way you're here, and it was just like, and so sometimes when I felt I was going to a meeting or something, I just, right, what we should do, and somehow I would kind of think about her, and now I've realized that you're creating a new Artemis.
Yes.
A new circle.
Absolutely. It's a brand new membership. It's coming up soon. It's called Artemis Way. And I'll tell you how I came upon the name, is that Artemis is the Greek goddess, and Diana is the Roman version of the same goddess. So, yes, and I remember that's a big part of my story. Goddess work is right at the center of the self-love work that I do. These days, I've started using the term goddess because I really believe that goddess energy, Artemis has always been depicted as a woman, and that's amazing. However, her energy applies to everybody. And so I've started playing with the term goddess and slipping it in here and there to feel it out and see, how people take to it, because I think it's important, the inclusion factor. Back to the work, though. So when I was a young child, I remember complaining to my mom, I wanted the name Gail. I met a woman. My mom took us for ice skating lessons, and the teacher her name was Gail, and I thought she was a complete goddess. I mean, she could skate across the ice like a ballerina, and she was just so elegant and gorgeous. And this was back in the 80s. She had funky hair and earrings. And I used to look at her and think, in every game my sister and I played, my name would be Gail. And then I remember complaining to my mom and saying, I've got such an awful name. And she said, gosh, what makes you say that? And I said, well, nobody has my name, because growing up, there were very few. I never met anyone with my name. So I said, first of all, nobody has it. So obviously it's a bad name. And then I said to her, and it's not like anything special. Like Gail is an ice skating queen, she's brilliant. And my mom was like, okay, let me tell you. She said, and I said, I want a princess name. So she said, well, your name is far beyond a princess name, my darling. It is a goddess name. And then she explained goddesses to me, and I got hooked. I was hooked on Greek mythology from that day. I read just about all of it. And and then started to really live and embody this goddess energy. Because as you say, when you read the depiction of a goddess and who she was and what she represented, there is so much power there. And those are beings, the mythology gods and goddesses are beings that know themselves, love themselves, know their strengths and weaknesses, know their light and their dark, and they work with all of that. So goddess work is very much in the middle of what I do. And Artemis Way is going to be all about embodying that. So I'm super excited about it.
I'm super excited. And I just realized that I said Artemis when I was thinking about the goddess that I was thinking, but it wasn't her. It was Athena.
Athena. Oh, another beautiful, powerful goddess. Yes.
I had Artemis in my head because that's your new circle,
My
which
program,
is
yeah.
your new program that you're doing, which seems. So when are you starting it? When are you starting that new?
Oh, Claire, that is such a good question. With me, that's always a good question. When are you starting it? So it's started as in with me. So I've put together all the whole thing is put together now. I'm busy recording all the material because it's going to be a 12-month membership. So that's quite a lot of, I'm recording videos, I'm recording audio, meditations, and super exciting stuff that's going to be in there. It's going to be really, really packed. So when am I going to actually launch it live? I can't tell you right now. And I'll tell you why I can't tell you right now, because a lot of what I do is energy work. And so I'm very, very tuned into my own energy and the energy of my tribe, or, the world around me. And I follow that. So I follow that intuition very much. And I'll be working on Artemis Way and putting it together and in the flow of that. And I literally might receive messaging to say, okay, it's time for you to focus on your Glow program, because I have another program called Glow, which is Goddess Living for Optimal Womanhood. And then I will stop working on Artemis Way and go and pay some attention to Glow and my beautiful goddesses that are already in that program. So I can't give you an exact date, but it will be soon. And it will be, I would say, possibly in the next month to 40 days.
Okay, so kind of September, September new moon, something like that.
Yeah.
Again, you and I, we'll look at the moons, and we're gonna love the energy of the moons and things like that. So, let's take a look. I think next new moon is the 7th of September.
That sounds like a beautiful date.
Yeah, there could be something around this time, right?
Right, there absolutely could be.
So, and also what I'd love to hear how you're getting on with it, because I've been thinking about, because everybody's writing books, you've books, and I've written 3 books, and, between the mystery shopping and the customer experience and all that kind of things. And now that I'm into the Shui and the Feng Shui kind of things, the business Feng Shui, I wanted to create something a little bit different. And actually, because I've got some oracle cards as well, I was thinking about creating oracle cards for the business Feng Shui and have different, the Shi and the yin and yang and the different elements of each of them on cards. And you've got a fantastic idea. So tell us as well, if anybody's coming in, joining your membership, when you launch it on the 7th of September, what do they going to get, as well as, a full membership with you and all that good stuff that you talk about? There was something, you're doing something very special, isn't it?
I'm going to reach across here. So first of all, I've done cards in the past. So
did you?
Published a book called Love Me Beautiful. So that was my first program and my first book, Love Me Beautiful. And that, they're a set of cards as well, which are quite simple. And these are available on my website. Lovely self-love affirmation cards. So each of them has a simple, they're in the colors of Love Me Beautiful. Really, really simple affirmations, like I am so lovable. And like you say, it's similar to oracle cards. So it's just so easy to pull one and work with it. And with my Glow program, Goddess Living for Optimal Womanhood, I have created a set of cards. So every woman who comes through the program actually receives a card where she is the goddess on the card. And so it has her image on it, as well as all the attributes of her as a goddess. So it's really, really powerful.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, and that will, so anyone who ever does Glow will obviously receive their own card, and then we will have a full pack, which is, will be on sale for people to buy, and it will work exactly like oracle cards, but these are real goddesses that are walking the earth right now.
Amazing. That's such a beautiful idea, and it just makes people feel so special. Again, I think when you do that, you release beautiful oxytocin and serotonin and all those beautiful hormones. When you feel good in yourself, it's all those happy hormones, isn't it? And
absolutely.
It's just nice just to be nice, and it's nice to bring some joy and happiness in people's life, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, Claire. And that brings us back to what you said earlier. With self-love and with the journey to knowing oneself and loving oneself, that just builds and builds and builds. And so, you find that for me, my body is always producing high levels of those wonderful chemicals and keeping me up. So even when I do have a tough time, a really tough time, I'm so able to manage it. And so, and I'm not having to work at managing it. My body, my soul, my energy, who I am, is just managing it. It's like a beautiful dance with life. So self-love is so important.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel it as well in your voice. It's so passionate, isn't it? It's so passionate. As much as me, I've got a bit too much dopamine going out.
Yeah.
You've got lots of serotonin coming out.
There we go. Brilliant combo.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's the best thing to do, isn't it? Well, Diana, I've put the link for your website right down here below. If anybody wants to connect with you, how do they? Obviously, website. But what's the best way to connect with you? What do you prefer?
So website is really easy because everything's on there. So okay. I'm completely open to being contacted whichever way makes sense for the person. But via my website, all my social media links are there. I do publish my number as well. If people want to connect via WhatsApp, that's also 100% fine. A good old-fashioned phone call, I'm up for that. So yeah, but it's very easy to also just book space in my calendar for a one-to-one chat online. I do everything online. So that's all there at dianagrant.com.
Oh, that's fantastic. And can you just before we finish, can you just give us one tips or one thing that you do on a daily basis which you couldn't do without? Something that, like a little habits that you do and you feel like, it's just so important now. It's part of your daily habits.
Absolutely. Can I be greedy and give you two?
Oh, sure. Go on.
Okay, yeah. The first one is mirror work. And I discovered this years ago through Louise Hay, the wonderful Louise Hay, and it has changed my life. And I share this with everybody. Everybody that ever works with me knows they're going to become very best friends with their mirror. And that is first thing in the morning when you get up and you go through, most people go to the bathroom when they wake up, right? So first stop by the mirror and just greet yourself. Eye contact in the mirror and say good morning. And it can start with a simple eye contact. Then it can shift to saying good morning. And eventually it'll be like, good morning, gorgeous. Hey, they're beautiful. I mean, I just have an array of greetings for myself. And it is one of the most powerful self-esteem builders ever. So give it a go. Yeah,
I love that. This is so much more powerful than opening the window that, it's raining again.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? With our current summer that we're having.
All right, number 2. Let's do number 2.
So number 2 is get quiet once a day, every day, for as short or as long as possible. I say as long as possible, but even if it starts with 3 minutes, get quiet because all the answers you seek are within you. So I do that with meditation. There are so many different types of meditation. But yes, get quiet and just listen to your inner being.
And actually you've got some meditation on your YouTube channel as well, haven't you? And so if you don't know where to start, go on Diana's YouTube channel and then just be for a minute. You don't have to. I think a lot of people think that mindfulness is something or that you have to, or intuition or meditation, or it's just be with yourself for 5 minutes and just
absolutely.
That's it. And that's the way you start it, isn't it? And then you can
with
the things. But the more you start, the better you'll feel.
Exactly. Yes.
Excellent. Oh, well, Diana, thank you so much for being here today. It was just fabulous.
Thank you so much, Claire.
We'll go and connect with Diana and follow her and join our Artemis, goddess circle. That would be amazing. And we'll see you very, very soon.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you.